It happened in the back seat of his car. My heels were digging into the leather, my wedding ring was still on, and my husband was home waiting for me to bring him dinner. But instead of picking up our usual takeout, I was tangled up in another man's arms, lips on my throat, his voice growling in my ear, and my body betraying every vow I had ever made. I climaxed twice before I even remembered my husband's name. Welcome back to the channel. I want to say a massive thank you to all my subscribers for being here with me again. Your support means more than words can express. To all my new and returning viewers who are yet to subscribe, I see you. I appreciate you. And I cannot wait for you to hit that subscribe button because that is the fuel that powers this channel and keeps these real stories coming. Do not forget to like, engage, and share your thoughts in the comments section. Your opinions make these stories breathe. Now, let me introduce myself. My name is Melanie Green. I am a 34-year-old woman living in a quiet suburban neighborhood just outside of Dallas, Texas. White picket fence. 2 golden retrievers. A walk-in closet bigger than most people's kitchens. My husband, Nathan Green, gave me all of it. He is the kind of man women pray for, steady, loyal, affectionate, patient beyond words. A 6-figure software consultant with soft eyes and a calming voice. He knew how I took my coffee, memorized my period cycle, rubbed my feet every night, and never let me forget how much he adored me. And yet, I still wanted more. It started with harmless flirting at the gym. His name was Eli, and he was the polar opposite of Nathan. Rugged. Tattooed. Loud. Crude. He worked as a personal trainer and had a body that looked carved from hard labor and unresolved anger. He was also married, to a woman who rarely showed up, and when she did, she barely looked at him. The first time he touched me, it was by accident. His hand brushed my hip as he adjusted my form during a squat. But his fingers lingered a second too long. I did not stop him. The tension built slowly but aggressively. The glances. The almost touches. The dirty smiles. And then the texts. My phone was the gateway drug. Late-night messages. Emojis that said more than words ever could. And finally, the invitation. That night, Nathan had asked me to bring home dinner. He said he was working on a surprise for our anniversary next weekend. I lied and said the restaurant was running late. But really, I was in Eli's car, parked behind the old yoga studio down the street. He kissed like he wanted to erase me, not worship me like Nathan always did. Eli tasted like sweat and rage. He bit my neck. He ripped my blouse. He pressed me into the seat so hard it left a bruise on my spine. And I let him. When it was over, I sat there breathless and shaken. Not from shame. Not from regret. But from how alive I felt. I had not felt that kind of fire in years. Not since before Nathan put a ring on my finger and told me I would never have to worry again. But what he did not realize is, comfort has a cost. And for me, the cost was boredom. Predictability. Safety. Nathan loved me too much. He gave me too much. And maybe, just maybe, I resented him for it. The next morning, I woke up to breakfast in bed. Pancakes. Strawberries. Black coffee with oat milk, exactly the way I like it. Nathan kissed my forehead and said, "You deserve everything good in this world." I nearly choked on my guilt. But then my phone buzzed. One text from Eli. Round 2. And I replied. When? I would love to tell you that was the only time. That I cried in the shower and begged God for forgiveness. But the truth? I went back. Again and again. Every time I walked through the door and Nathan wrapped his arms around me, I was already replaying the last time Eli had pulled my hair and told me I belonged to him for the night. I kept the secret so well, I convinced myself it was not really cheating if my heart still belonged to Nathan. That was the lie I told myself. That because I came home, because I still made dinner, folded laundry, wore his name, I was still his wife in the ways that mattered. But a wife does not lie with another man. A wife does not flinch when her husband touches her because she is thinking about someone else's hands. A wife does not live a double life between the bedsheets of two men who trust her. But I was not just any wife. I was the woman who wanted everything, and when I got it, I still wanted more. I did not know it yet, but the cracks were already forming. Nathan was watching me more closely, asking quieter questions, paying attention in ways he had not before. And the house he built for me, the one with the picket fence and the golden retrievers, was about to collapse. But I was too deep in lust and deception to see it coming. By the third time Eli and I had sex, I stopped flinching when he pulled my panties off in his car. That was when I knew it had become more than just a mistake. It was now a second life, and I was addicted to the secrecy more than I was addicted to him. I was balancing two men like a trained liar, like a woman who had studied betrayal her entire life. I would leave the gym drenched in sweat, sometimes from the treadmill, sometimes from Eli, then drive straight home and shower in silence while my husband hummed in the kitchen, cooking dinner for us both. I would text Eli from the bathroom, then walk out and kiss Nathan on the cheek as if I was the loyal wife he married. It became a rhythm. One day with Nathan. One night with Eli. I was good at it. Too good. Sometimes, I would pretend I was going to brunch with a girlfriend. Sometimes I said I had a late work meeting. Once, I even told Nathan I had signed up for a women's Bible study group just to buy myself an extra night a week. He smiled and told me how proud he was. That smile nearly broke me. But not enough to stop. You see, Eli was nothing like my husband. Nathan was gentle. Eli was aggressive. Nathan asked. Eli took. With Eli, I never had to be sweet, polite, or careful. I could be raw. I could say filthy things and beg for more, and he would not judge me. In fact, the worse I was, the more he liked it. I liked the way he treated me like property. Like something wild and selfish. With Nathan, I was a woman on a pedestal. With Eli, I was on my knees. And I craved it. But what I did not see coming was the way that darkness started leaking into my real life. It started small. I stopped laughing at Nathan's jokes. I would roll my eyes when he complimented me. His soft touch started to feel like sandpaper. Every time he made love to me, slow, tender, intimate, I had to force myself not to scream. Because my body was already trained to react to someone else's rhythm. One night, Nathan made reservations at my favorite restaurant downtown. I wore a new black dress. Tight. Low cut. I wanted to feel sexy, not for him, but for me. I sat across from him, chewing my salmon while nodding at every sweet thing he said. He reached across the table, held my hand, and said, "You are the best decision I have ever made." I smiled. But deep inside, I felt nothing. Not guilt. Not shame. Just numbness. I had replaced my husband's devotion with a high I could not shake. A rush that came from the thrill of being wanted, of being dangerous, of holding power. Every lie I told made me feel untouchable. And Eli? He fed that power like gasoline on a match. But things started shifting. Eli began texting me more. He would get angry if I could not sneak out. He accused me of caring too much about my husband. There were days he would ignore me entirely, only to come back hours later with the kind of messages that made my stomach twist. Once, I asked him if we were getting too close. He replied, "You are mine now. You knew that the first time." I pretended I was not scared. But I was. Still. I kept going. There was a day Nathan came home early from work. I was supposed to be at the gym, but instead, I was in the upstairs guest room with Eli. Nathan's car pulling into the driveway made me feel like my heart would explode. We scrambled. Clothes. Hair. Lips. I shoved Eli into the bathroom and told him not to make a sound. Nathan walked in 5 minutes later, holding flowers. "I wanted to surprise you," he said, smiling. "I got off work early." I hugged him, praying he could not hear the other man's breath behind the door upstairs. That was my new reality. Every moment, every breath, every second was a risk. But that risk kept me alive. It gave me something Nathan's love never could: danger. The more I pulled away emotionally, the harder Nathan tried. He started writing little love notes again. He booked a couple's massage for our anniversary. He bought me a diamond bracelet just because. One night, he knelt in front of me and said, "I know you have been distant lately. I do not know if it is stress or hormones or something you are not ready to tell me yet. But I want you to know. I am here. I am not going anywhere." I cried that night. Not because I was sorry. But because I did not deserve a man like him. And I knew it. So I did what cowards do when they know they are about to be exposed. I got better at lying. I created fake calendar events. Saved Eli's name in my phone as Lisa. Changed all notifications to private. I even set up a second email address to communicate with him during the day. I started wearing different perfume around Eli so Nathan would not notice the scent. I was playing a game I thought I could win. But deep down, I knew this was a house of cards. And it would only take one small gust of truth to bring it all down. The final straw? It came in the form of a necklace. One night, Eli took off his chain and put it around my neck after we finished in his car. "Now you belong to me," he said. I laughed it off. But I forgot to take it off before I got home. Nathan saw it while I was brushing my teeth. "What is this?" he asked. I froze. And then, I lied. "Oh, it is something I picked up at the boutique downtown," I said. He nodded, too slowly. That was the moment I knew, something in his eyes had changed. Nathan was not stupid. He just loved me too much to believe I could be that cruel. But the cracks were spreading. And in the days that followed, I would learn that nothing stays hidden forever. Because love might blind a man, but betrayal? Betrayal always opens his eyes. It did not unravel in the way I had imagined. There was no screaming. No broken plates or dramatic confessions. No slamming of doors. It unraveled slowly, like a thread pulled from the hem of a dress. Almost quiet. Almost polite. Until it was not. Nathan found a receipt first. A hotel receipt I had tucked inside my gym bag without realizing. One I had planned to tear up but never did. I was in the shower when he found it. When I stepped out, he was sitting on the edge of the bed holding it, eyes red and face pale. "Did you have a meeting at the Westlake Hotel?" he asked. That was the moment I stopped breathing. I stared at him, towel around my chest, water still dripping down my legs. The room was suddenly too quiet. The air too thick. I could feel my heartbeat in my ears. My mouth opened. But nothing came out. And that was enough of an answer. He did not yell. He did not hit anything. He just blinked slowly and said, "So it is true." I tried to speak then, but there is no graceful way to explain how you betrayed the man who built his life around you. There is no excuse eloquent enough to make infidelity sound anything but disgusting. Nathan stood up, placed the receipt on the nightstand, and walked out. I followed him. Wet, barefoot, terrified. "Nathan, please." He turned around, and his voice cracked when he said, "Do not. Please, just do not insult me with whatever you are about to say." That was when the begging started. But here is the thing about good men, they break differently. When they fall apart, it is not with rage, it is with quiet heartbreak that makes the shame even louder. Nathan had loved me with everything. And I had given my body, time, and secrets to another man behind his back. He did not sleep in our bed that night. Or the night after. He stayed with his brother. Not the one I had been sleeping with, thank God, but his older brother, Travis. By the third day, he stopped answering my texts. He stopped asking questions. And then, finally, I got the text that shattered me. I packed a suitcase. I will come get the rest next week. Please do not be here. The house felt haunted without him. I walked through the kitchen and still saw his smile. His mug. His scent in our closet. Every corner echoed with guilt. I called Eli and told him it was over. He laughed. You think you can just cut me off, he said. You came to me. You begged for this. I blocked his number. But blocking a man does not block the memories. And the memories were knives. I started drinking wine at noon. Skipping meals. Ignoring texts from friends. I had become a ghost in my own home. The worst part was knowing I had done this. Not to someone toxic. Not to a man who deserved it. But to Nathan, a man who would have walked through fire for me. And I spat in his love like it was nothing. 2 weeks later, I saw him in the grocery store. He looked thinner. His eyes were swollen, like he had not slept. But he was still handsome. Still kind. He looked at me and gave a sad little smile, the kind you give when you pass someone at a funeral. Hi, I said, voice barely above a whisper. Hi, he replied. We stood there. Strangers. Lovers. Enemies. All in one breath. I am sorry, I choked out. He nodded. I know. And then he turned and walked away. That was it. There was no dramatic reunion. No heartfelt forgiveness. No second chance. Just silence. I did not try to chase him again. I had already taken too much. People always talk about regret like it is an emotion. But it is not. Regret is a ghost. It visits you in the night. It crawls into your bed. It whispers in your ear while you shower. It plays memories like movies behind your eyelids until you want to scream. I had it all. And I threw it away because I was bored. Because I craved passion more than peace. Because I wanted to feel like I still mattered. But what I found was that no amount of sex, danger, or compliments from another man could ever replace the quiet beauty of loyalty. Nathan was not perfect. But he was mine. And I was his. Until I was not. Now, I live with the memory of a good man I broke. A house full of things we bought together. A closet half empty. A bed too big. Forgiveness? It never came. And I do not blame him. Some betrayals are too deep to mend.